Friends, for Science Today, I'm going to show you some different habitats where plants grow. And in these different habitats, you're going to see different types of plants growing because they are going to get their needs met in different ways. So as you look at this picture, do you know where this picture is? What habitat this picture is showing? Is it hot and dry or cold and icy? When I flip the card over, it says this is the Arctic. The Arctic can be very cold and windy. Arctic plants are small. They grow close to the ground to stay warm. So you're not going to see a big tall plant growing here like a palm tree because the plants that grow here stay very close to the ground to reserve some warmth. Here's a different habitat. Do you recognize this habitat? Much different than the habitat that we just saw in the Arctic. This place is hot and dry. This place is called the desert. The desert is very hot and dry. Desert plants survive by storing water. Some desert plants have long roots. And they have long roots because they need to go deep down underneath the ground to where they can find water stored. Here's a different habitat where plants grow. So there's some sun, but it's not hot. There's some water, but it's not too wet. Do you know what this habitat is where plants grow? This is the forest. It is not too hot or cold. It has many kinds of plants. Trees, flowers, and mosses all grow in the forest. So when you visit a forest, you're going to see a lot of different plants. So compare this slide of the forest. Let's go back to the desert. Do you see as many plants growing in the desert as you do in the forest? No, more plants. You'll see more plants in the forest. Here's the forest again. A lot of plants. Let's go to a new habitat. Okay, take a look at this habitat. Do you know what this body of water is called here? Here is a place where you're going to find different kinds of plants. This is near a lake. It says some plants live in lakes. They are aquatic plants. In lakes you will find water lilies, duckweed, and milfoil. They are all aquatic plants. So some plants will be growing here inside the lake or in the water. And let's go to our next habitat. Oh, this is a habitat that we're lucky to live close to. Does anyone recognize this habitat where there will be some plants growing? This is the ocean. Some plants live in salt water. The ocean is a body of salt water. In the ocean you will find phytoplankton, seagrass or seaweed, and rockweed. They are all saltwater plants. So yes, some plants will be growing inside the water, and here they are here growing. This is the bottom of the ocean here, and they're growing up towards where the light is coming into the water at the top. I think this is our last one. Do you know what this body of water is called? This is called a river. And you see a lot of plants growing around the river, but did you know there are also some plants inside the river growing in the water? And it says here, plants in rivers and lakes help add oxygen to the water, and they also feed the fish. So hopefully, friends, from this activity today and from these photo cards, you can see different habitats where plants are growing. Some are growing in the water, and some are growing on the land too. And they're all in a place where they can get their needs met. So I want you to see the difference between these plants here in the desert and also in the Arctic where it's very cold. The plants are very low to the ground so that they can not be too exposed to the elements. And then if you compare these plants that are staying low to the ground to these plants in the forest that are growing so tall with big broad leaves, you will find that plants are growing in different places, and the plants will look very different depending on where they are growing, because it is the habitat or environment that meet their needs so that they can continue growing. All right, guys, hope you have a good time doing your activity in your science journal today.